Geopolitics, Failing Diplomacies, Big Picture on Global News Explained. Welcome to the podcast of Buzz and Rave Show. How y'all doing?
Hey guys, how is it going?
We'll take a look at the geopolitical situation and events around the world in the context of continuous diplomatic failures.
From a bird-eye view, let's see what the official news agencies and major news outlets say about the gradual failure of diplomacies. Or they don't say anything about it.
On this week's News Associated Press reports, 2 airstrikes in West Bank killing 9 militants. Other news outlets denies it and says they were civilians.
And Australian inquiry blames Israeli military, failing for a fatal drone attack on Gaza aid convoy.
U.S. boosts military presence and more escalation looms over Mideast. An F-16s arrives in Ukraine.
And TASS reports 7 people killed in Israeli strikes on camps in Gaza Strip. And, according to German official, Europe needs new security system. So are diplomacies around the world failing? Is diplomacy functioning in a silo? Are diplomatic efforts really objective-oriented or intended for optical illusions?
I wonder when diplomats of countries meet. Do they not talk about the underlying or root cause and effects and resulting consequences for not fixing them?
No, they don't. It's deceiving. These diplomats meet to posture these talks as peace talk. In fact, they are 2 different things. These talks are just messages if intended for allies and theatrics if intended for adversaries.
Got ya! So for peace talks, there is United Nations Forum, which is really a rhetorical forum.
Which entails no action, meaning countries would automatically assume that might, or each one's perception of might, has to be right.
But how long the world continue like that? Some accident might happen one day. Isn't that what history teaches humans, that who has everything perceived precious to lose will likely lose at the hands of who has nothing? Absolutely nothing to lose.
Yes, if they continue to deprive one of absolute nothingness.
So why the heck these humans have seminars, consortiums, accords, forums, think tanks, book exhibitions, bull crap, etc.?
It's their livelihood, stupid. Like you and I, bullshit all day long to scare and make flock of birds feel insecure so we can eventually get them under our claw.
Okie doke. Well, let's look the other news making headlines. Israel airstrikes kills 15 Palestinian again striking a school. And Ukraine accused Russia of POWs treatment incidents.
And in UK, far-right protesters angry at everyone who calls them far-right. Clashes with police as unrest spreads.
No one like to call themselves far-far. Far-left liberals don't like to be called as far-leftist. Zealots don't like to be called zealots. Fanatics don't like to be called fanatics. Fascists don't like to be called fascist. I think the world should come up with slightly more dignified names.
And CGTN highlights how world reacts to Hamas's chief assassination. US Secretary of State says US not aware of or involved in it. And CGTN poll says about 82% people concerned over Japan-US military ties.
That sounds like a baloney, but I think it meant 82% Chinese people. Among other news, China's ambassador optimistic over China-UK relations with new government in UK. Also, China launching Sino-Italian relationship. So what do you make of this diplomacy versus other diplomacy?
Clear difference in both. Autocratic system, especially former socialist systems, tend to posture one-sided truth or facts. They learnt that during communist rule how to give only positive news to consumers.
Are we saying there is good bullshit and bad bullshit?
No, we're saying with truth, even if it's half, can create more space and provide more latitude to diplomacy. Meaningful diplomacy, that is, as opposed to total posturing.
Right! Total posturing is short-lasting and cause diplomatic failures. Current situation of the world is a testament to it.
And CNA reports hundreds march for Palestinians held in Israeli jails.
You mean Gaza Strip or some other jail?
Other jails.
So from a bird-eye view, we see that so-called diplomacies in the world are actually tangling, not tackling issues, which now are on a perpetual escalation path.
And with that, we'll conclude this podcast. Until next time, goodbye.
So long!